89 Grand-Prix telecast, proudly sponsored by Honda, Toyo Tyres and Aged Motor Oils.
Welcome to round 7 of the 89 Formula One Championship, the 75th French Grand Prix held at Circuit Paul Ricard in the south of France. This racetrack is one of the fastest on the Formula One calendar, and most of the teams use it during winter for testing. Tonight it's the hounds chasing the McLaren hares once again. Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna fastest in qualifying, with Prost this time on pole. Nigel Mansell takes up second row of the grid in third quickest time in his Ferrari. Alessandro Nannini and the new Benetton alongside him. Terry Boutsen, the winner of the Canadian Grand Prix, on row 3, with Gerhard Berger in the Ferrari, 6th place. So, it's the McLarens occupying 7 front rows from 7 rounds this season, and Alain Prost, who's already won this race 3 times, confirmed all the rumours this week when he announced that he's leaving McLaren at the end of the season. But he didn't say what he'll be doing next year. But what he does want to do is win here again and stay in front of arch-rival Ayrton Senna in the points for the 89 World Championship. All right, let's go straight to Le Castellet. Your commentators, unless I'm very much mistaken, Murray Walker.
Du Canada sur sa Williams Renault. Il a réalisé des essais 1 minute 211. Il part en 3e ligne.
Fifth on the grid, Terry Boutsen on the Williams Renault. 1 minute 08.211 in Williams number 5.
6e temps des essais, Gerhard Berger avec la Ferrari numéro 28. Il a réalisé 1 8 233. Il part en 3e ligne.
Sixth on the grid, Gerhard Berger, Ferrari number 28, 1 minute 08.233.
7e temps pour Philippe Alliot sur la Lamborghini numéro 30. Il a réalisé 1 minute 8 secondes 561 millièmes. C'est le 2e pilote français à être classé sur la grille. 7e temps.
7th on the grid, Philippe Alliot in the La Rose Carmos Lola Lamborghini with a time of 1 minute 08.561.
8e temps pour Ricardo sur la California numéro 6. 8
Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, bonjour, ici le circuit Paul Ricard au Castellet, où nous allons vivre dans quelques instants le 75e Grand Prix de France, 7e manche du championnat du monde des conducteurs, un championnat qui est toujours mené par Alain Prost avec 29 points, 2 points d'avance sur Ayrton Senna, Ricardo Patrese 18 points, puis Thierry Boutsen 13, Mansell 9, Nannini 8, Alboreto 6, Herbert 5, Derek Warwick 4 points, de même que Mauricio Gugelmin, Stefano Modena, Alex Chiaffi, Eddie Cheever et Andrea De Cesaris. Ici Derek Warwick qui a dû déclarer forfait aujourd'hui, on vous dira le pourquoi tout à l'heure. Et Stefano Modena, le pilote de la seule Brabham que nous verrons en course dans ce Grand Prix de France. Ici, c'est Eddie Cheever, l'Italo-américain, avec 3 points, 2 pilotes, Christian Danner, que vous voyez là, et Nelson Piquet, le triple champion du monde, qui a marqué 2 points au Canada il y a 3 semaines, avec 2 points René Arnoux, 2 points qu'il a lui marqué au Canada, et avec un point, 3 pilotes, Jonathan Palmer, Gabriele Tarquini et Martin Brundle. Ce Grand Prix de France va se dérouler tout à l'heure sur 80 tours d'un circuit de 3 km 813, soit un total de 305 km et 40 mètres. Et comme ces images en témoignent, il fait une chaleur étouffante ici sur ce circuit Paul Ricard qui se trouve entre Marseille et Toulon, un peu en retrait par rapport à la mer. Un circuit dont le record du tour est détenu depuis 2 ans maintenant par Nelson Piquet. La grille de départ verra en pole position Alain Prost avec à ses côtés Ayrton Senna en 2e ligne. Mansell et Nannini en 3e ligne, Terry Boutsen, le vainqueur du Canada, et Gerhard Berger sur l'autre Ferrari. En 4e ligne, Philippe Alliot sur la Lola Lamborghini et Riccardo Patrese sur la 2e Williams Renault. En 5e ligne, Jonathan Palmer et Maurizio Gugelmin. En 6e ligne, Bertrand Gachot, c'est un néophyte, et Ivan Capelli. En 7e ligne, Stéphane Johansson et Martin Donnelly, là aussi un nouveau. En 8e ligne, 2 nouveaux, Éric Bernard et Jean Alési. En 10e ligne, les 2 ligiers de Olivier Brouillard et René Arnoux. En 10e ligne, les 2 Lotus Judd de Nakajima et Nelson Piquet. En 13e ligne, Gabriele Tarquini sur la l'AGS. Et ce n'est pas Edith Chivert. Cette grille est fausse, elle a été corrigée car à la suite d'un contrôle, on s'est rendu compte que la rose n'était pas réglementaire, c'est-à-dire que ces temps d'hier ont été supprimés. Et Edith Chivert est malgré tout qualifié grâce à son temps de vendredi, mais il part en dernière ligne sur la grille de départ, en avant-dernière position, aux côtés de Alex Caffi. Sa position n'a pas beaucoup d'importance. On précisera tout de même que 4 pilotes ne se sont pas qualifiés. Andrea De Cesaris pour la 2e fois de sa longue carrière. Pérez Sala, l'Espagnol, Christian Danner, l'Allemand, et Roberto Moreno, le Brésilien. Alain Prost qui va occuper pour la 20e fois de sa carrière la pole position, la 3e fois ici au Grand Prix de France, qu'il a déjà remporté à 3 reprises, en 81, 83 et l'an dernier. Un Alain Prost qui est bien déterminé à réussir ici
21e temps pour Gabriel.
Une belle course, lui qui avait ce matin le meilleur temps de ce que l'on appelle le warm-up, c'est-à-dire les essais libres. Et il a précédé Nigel Mansell et son coéquipier Ayrton Senna, que voilà. Un Ayrton Senna qui n'a pas marqué de points depuis 2 courses, 3 victoires cette saison à Saint-Marin, à Monaco et au Mexique, puis 2 abandons à Phoenix et au Canada alors qu'il était leader à 3 tours de la fin. Et beaucoup de remous au sein de cette équipe McLaren Honda. Nous aurons tout loisir d'évoquer tout à l'heure l'annonce faite ce vendredi matin par Alain Prost, l'annonce qui concernait son retrait non pas de la compétition mais de l'équipe McLaren Honda.
Il a réalisé une 10-240.
Et dans l'immédiat, nous allons découvrir ou redécouvrir ce circuit du Castellet. Un circuit très rapide puisque la moyenne du meilleur tour était de plus de 204 km/h. Ici, au bout de cette rectiligne, le freinage le plus délicat. Et puis un enchaînement très difficile. Puis la longue rectiligne du Mistral avec la courbe de signe qui est prise à près de 300 à l'heure. Et ici, le double droit du Beausset. Les vitesses que vous voyez sur l'impression sont très approximatives. Et puis une partie très technique également. Avec une légère descente en droite-gauche avec le virage du pont. Et le retour sur la ligne de départ et d'arrivée. Voilà pour ce circuit sur lequel les Formule 1 se sont alignés très souvent, la première fois en 1971. Mais nous y viendrons en principe l'année prochaine encore seulement. Puis le Grand Prix de France devrait être disputé à Magny-Cours, selon les vœux du président Mitterrand. Ici, Nigel Mansell, 3e sur la grille de départ. Un Nigel Mansell qui dispose d'une Ferrari légèrement remaniée avec une nouvelle barre anti-roulis, mais surtout un moteur modifié dans la mesure où il est plus léger et plus puissant. Et Mansell n'a concédé que 2 dixièmes de seconde à Prost. Les écarts sont nettement plus faibles qu'ils l'étaient en début de saison, puisque les 6 premiers sont dans la même seconde et les 20 suivants sont séparés par 2 secondes. Ici, la surprise, c'est Alessandro Nannini en 4e position sur la grille de départ. C'est une surprise. Pourquoi? Eh bien parce que Nannini dispose d'une nouvelle voiture qui les traîne aujourd'hui, la nouvelle Benetton 189. Une voiture qui ressemble étrangement à l'avion à décollage vertical des Britanniques, le Harrier. Une voiture qui est en phase de mise au point, mais qui a réussi un excellent temps, puisqu'elle a battu, par exemple, Thierry Boutsen ou Gerhard Berger. Ici, Thierry Boutsen, le Belge vainqueur du Grand Prix du Canada, au volant de la Williams Renault. Et vous voyez sur la gauche, c'est la caméra. La caméra est à bord des Williams et voilà la prise de vue de cette caméra qui permettra de suivre l'évolution de Thierry Boutsen et de Riccardo Patrese qui est un petit peu en retrait par rapport à lui. Là aussi un moteur qui est dans une nouvelle phase de développement. On a retravaillé surtout la chambre de combustion et certains composants techniques. Un moteur Renault qui est plus puissant que celui dont disposaient les pilotes au Canada et même durant les essais, puisque ces moteurs sont arrivés au tout dernier moment et durant les essais, soit Patrese, soit Boutsen ont établi leur temps de qualification au volant de leur voiture mue par l'ancien, si l'on peut l'appeler ainsi, moteur Renault. Ici Gerhard Berger, qui lui n'a pas été très heureux lors des essais, il n'est qu'en 3e ligne, mais tout de même un bon temps. Un Gerhard Berger qui n'a pas encore marqué de points cette année qui pour lui aurait été marquée essentiellement par la sortie de route dont il avait été victime au Grand Prix de Saint-Marin. Derrière Berger, on devrait voir la 4e ligne avec en particulier Philippe Alliot au volant de la Lola Lamborghini, une voiture qui a réussi un bon classement, 7e sur la grille de départ. Il faut dire que Philippe Alliot a vraiment l'épée de Damoclès qui est suspendue au-dessus de sa tête. Son coéquipier Dalmas a été proprement évincé pour absence de résultats. Il était remplacé par un jeune Français qui s'appelle Éric Bernard. Et Philippe Alliot, que vous voyez là, doit absolument réussir quelque chose entre ici au Grand Prix de France et dimanche prochain au Grand Prix d'Angleterre, sans quoi il serait lui aussi contraint de céder sa place. L'équipe Larousse Lamborghini, Lola Larousse Lamborghini, dispose maintenant d'un matériel assez compétitif, d'ingénieurs remarquables comme Gérard Ducarouge et secondé maintenant par Michel Tétu qui a rejoint l'équipe tout récemment. Le moteur n'est pas encore parfaitement fiable, mais il a de belles promesses et Philippe Alliot a commis trop d'erreurs jusque-là. Le sursis lui a été accordé, mais il sait à quoi s'en tenir. Et puis, il y a 4 pilotes qui vont effectuer leur premier Grand Prix, je vous l'ai dit. Il y a d'une part Martin Donnelly au volant de la Rose. Ici, c'est Jonathan Palmer sur la Tyrrell que vous voyez. C'est Martin Donnelly sur la Rose Ford qui remplace Derek Warwick, qui s'est cassé des côtes lors d'un accident de karting dimanche dernier. Il y a également l'autre pilote de la Tyrrell, Michele Alboreto, qui a été remplacé par le Français Jean Alesi, tout simplement parce que l'équipe Tyrrell dispose maintenant d'un sponsor qui est un marchand de cigarettes, et comme le sponsor personnel d'Alboreto est également un marchand de cigarettes, mais pas le même, eh bien il y a eu...
Le 13e organisé sur ce circuit, Paul Ricard.
Voilà, une seconde.
Eh bien, il y a eu changement de pilote. Ici, c'est Patrese que vous voyez. Et chez Lola, on l'a dit, Yannick Dalmas remplacé par Éric Bernard. Et puis, chez Benetton, Johnny Herbert, qui n'est pas encore suffisamment remis. Il a pourtant disputé 5 Grands Prix. Mais il n'a pas assez de force dans la cheville droite à la suite de l'accident terrible qui avait été le sien l'an dernier en Formule 3000 à Brenzach. Eh bien, Herbert a décidé, en accord avec son équipe, de céder sa place pour 2 ou 3 mois jusqu'à ce qu'il soit totalement remis. Et sa place a été prise par l'Italien Emanuele Piro, qui jusque-là était pilote essayeur de McLaren Honda. Et puis un autre néophyte, c'est le franco-belge, on l'appellera ainsi, Bertrand Gachot, au volant de l'Onyx. Ici, les supporters de Prost, qui sont très nombreux. Bertrand Gachot, qui a réussi à se préqualifier, de même que son coéquipier Stéphane Johansen, les premiers Grands Prix pour le Belge au passeport français, si on peut l'appeler ainsi. Et puisque l'on parlait des préqualifiés, signalons que vendredi matin, ce sont 9 pilotes qui, comme d'habitude, n'ont pas passé le cap des préqualifications. Ce sont Larini, Brundle, Weidler, Schneider, Ginzani, Raffanel, Suzuki, le Suisse Wojtek et Winkelhock. Ce qui revient à dire qu'au départ de ce Grand Prix de France, il n'y a pas de Zella, de Rial, de Zach Speed, de Colony ou encore de Robron. Mais 26 voitures au départ qui vont s'élancer pour le tour de chauffe. Et vraiment, quand on parle de tour de chauffe, les pilotes savent de quoi il est question, avec une température torride ici. Certes, ce n'est pas Phoenix, mais c'est une chaleur beaucoup plus humide et donc beaucoup plus pénible à supporter. 26.
The parade lap for round 7 of the 1989 Formula One World Championship starts here for the French Grand Prix at the Paul Ricard circuit. And it is hot, it is 30 degrees hot. This surface that you're looking at is very abrasive. The cars are going to make at least one stop, although there's a rumour that 1 or 2 drivers, notably Nigel Mansell, are going to try to go through non-stop. And we may even have 2 tire stops. And we've got the closest positions on the front of the grid this season, because with Alain Prost in pole position for the 2nd time running, and he won the French Grand Prix last year, he is only a few hundredths of a second ahead of his teammate Ayrton Senna, and Nigel Mansell is only 0.2 of a second slower than Prost in 3rd position on the grid. There is the Ferrari. Gerhard Berger has changed to the spare car. There he is in the background. Alessandro Nannini is driving the new Benetton B189, which has been having some severe overheating problems, but it is undoubtedly going to be a very tough race.
Yes, very hard for the drivers too. This heat. The circuit, though, is reasonably forgiving physically. They get quite a reasonable rest up the long Mistral straight. The tyres are going to be a problem for everybody, and one of the Williamses has pulled off on the warming up lap, and that is certainly a great shame. And for Tracy it was who was pulled off, and it looks horribly as if he's parking the car. Now, will he have time to run back and jump in the spare car to get it out for the race? He's trying to get back, as it would appear, as near to the pits as he can, and it looks as if he's going to jump into the spare.
Riccardo Patrese had problems in the half-hour warm-up this morning with the camshaft sensor on his new Renault engine. This is the man who's finished 2nd for the last 3 Grand Prix. A tragic situation for Riccardo. He's the most experienced Grand Prix driver of them all. This is his, would have been, I should say, his 183rd Grand Prix. But there is the grid. On the left, Alain Prost. On the right, Ayrton Senna. Behind Prost is Mansell. Behind Senna is Nannini. It's 80 laps. And watch Nigel Mansell. He's got the semi-automatic gearbox, which is a very quick starter. Down to the first right-hander. And it's Senna leading, Prost 2nd, Nannini up to 3rd, Mansell down to 4th position, and look at Nannini up into 3rd position and charging through. That is one, that's Gugelmin, that's Mauricio. Maurizio Gugelmin in the march, and now the race is going to be stopped. Absolutely no doubt about that at all. That's Emanuele Pirro there, Jonathan Palmer in the yellow and blue Tyrrell, René Arnoux getting out of his Ligier. There is the Ferrari of Nigel Mansell, stopped on the course, and Maurizio Gugelmin, amazingly, it looks perfectly okay. He's getting out of the car out of his own volition.
Yes, the big roll hoop will have protected him very well there. A little bit shaken, I think, but looks as if he had no injury. The car turned over quite slowly. It was more spectacular than worrying, but it looked as if it got a clean start for a moment, and then the car, I couldn't see who it was, in the middle of the pack, locked up his brakes. Now we see it again, and it's the March, and he's locked his brakes, maybe got a bit of a nudge from behind. It was Gugelmin, and it looks as if Gugelmin lost it in the middle of the pack then, and really very spectacular. Bits and pieces everywhere. There will be, most of the cars will have had some damage, and that of course creates a problem about the restart, because technically they're in the normal we're not supposed to work on them, but I think with this one being on the first lap, it becomes a new race. So spare cars and mending will be allowed in this case.
Absolute mayhem, and I imagine that Riccardo Patrese will be able to get back to the pits, walk back now that he will have divined, and that's Nigel Mansell. Patrese will have divined that the race has come to a very abrupt conclusion. And that was yet another demonstration of how incredibly strong these modern Grand Prix cars are. Because Maurizio Gugelmin, having turned right over and been dragged along the ground inside the car, managed to get out of it seemingly perfectly all right. I am worried about the fact that Nigel Mansell stopped on the circuit. We had hoped, and that is René Arnoux' Ligier that is obviously very broken, so he'll be making his way back to the start for the spare car. I was saying that I had hoped that with Ferrari having, they hope, overcome the alternator problem, which has been causing all the problems with the semi-automatic gearbox, not the gearbox itself, I should hasten to say, that Mansell, who has driven superbly in practice, second fastest on the warm-up this morning, the half-hour warm-up, third on the grid, very close to Prost in pole position, would be doing well in the race. Here's the replay. Now there's Nannini slotting in, and you can see that Gugelmin has locked up his brakes. He's charging through. He hits the back of Boutsen's Williams, with Patrese already out of the race. Berger is avoiding the March, which slides across the circuit with Gugelmin's helmet just clear of the ground, and they are going off all over the place on the right-hand side of the circuit with Philippe Alliot in the foreground. That's Bertrand Gachot going through. An exciting start for his first Grand Prix. Ivan Capelli in the middle of your picture now in the second March. Nakajima charging through with Emanuele Pirro, also in his first Grand Prix in the Benetton, which Johnny Herbert has driven up to the French Grand Prix. And you can see that in that short link with René Arnoux walking back, and you may wonder why he has his seat in his hand, and the answer to that is that all the drivers have specially fitted seats, and in order to switch from one car to the other with Nigel Mansell's Ferrari just coming very slowly back to the grid, the driver has to take his seat with him to put into the spare car that he will be driving.
Alors c'est un des carambolages les plus spectaculaires auxquels il nous a été donné d'assister depuis bien quelque temps. Une ambulance qui rentre à vide, heureusement. Il va se remettre en place. Et puis les commissaires français que l'on voit à l'œuvre ici au Castellet, comme également à Monaco.
La procédure de départ.
Ils sont vraiment des commissaires de très haute qualification. On l'a constaté tout au long de ce week-end. L'organisation de ce Grand Prix de France a mis un effort particulier en ce qui concerne la sécurité. Il y a par exemple un pompier tous les 12 mètres, casqué et ayant revêtu une veste de cuir. Et on revoit une fois encore, regardez bien Gugelmin qui allume une première fois. Et puis c'est la voiture folle. C'est la voiture complètement folle. Et regardez, on voit Berger qui l'escorte en quelque sorte. Ici Capelli, le coéquipier. Et puis Eric Bernard et Piquet qui ne se touchent pas. Alors que Arnoux et Palmer, eux, se sont bien touchés. Et c'est Pirot que vous voyez au premier plan avec le casque rouge et non pas Eric Bernard comme je vous le disais. On retourne tout de suite. Ah oui, le chapeau. Eh bien, on a eu l'occasion de saluer le courage et les efforts fructueux des commissaires italiens à Imola. On peut faire les mêmes louanges aux commissaires français. Alors qu'ici, on s'affaire autour de la Ferrari numéro 28, qui est celle de Gerhard Berger, mais je ne sais pas si Mansell pourra partir, puisque Berger a la voiture de réserve. Ici, Patrese s'installe dans la voiture de réserve. C'est un peu la chance de Patrese que ce carambolage du départ. Et voilà Maurizio Gugelmin qui revient avec notre confrère Lionel Froissart de Libération, le confident des pilotes brésiliens. Ben oui, encore sous le coup, Gugelmin. Et apparemment, d'après les gestes, il explique qu'en dépit de son freinage, les freins ont dû lâcher car il a bloqué les roues. Puis ils ont dû lâcher. Et voilà Mansell qui revient. Est-ce que le remplacement de l'aileron suffira? Mansell qui avait été disqualifié il y a 3 semaines au Canada car il n'avait, comme Nannini du reste, pas respecté la procédure de départ.
Il manquait 20 voitures sur la grille lors du retour, la Ferrari numéro 27 de Nigel Mansell.
Et une épave bonne pour la casse. Le châssis de la Lighthouse de Gugelmin. Alors si je fais le décompte de ce que je vois devant moi, les deux McLaren étaient devant. Mais au moment du départ, on n'a pas vu en tout cas sur impression le feu rouge. Les deux McLaren sont là. En deuxième ligne, il y a la Benetton de Nannini. Évidemment que la Ferrari de Mansell n'est pas là puisqu'elle est tractée en ce moment. Boutsen est à bon port lui aussi. Enfin, il est sur la grille. De même que Berger. Alliot est là. À ses côtés, il devait y avoir Patrese, mais Patrese va venir, tandis que je vois là-bas... Oui, il faudrait que les touristes quittent le pit lane. Ce Grand Prix de France est bien organisé, c'est certain, mais il le sera parfaitement bien quand la foule de touristes inutiles n'aura plus accès à la piste des Stons. Alors Patrese va sans doute venir s'installer. De même que derrière, je vois que Palmer est là. Mais à ses côtés, ça devrait être Gugelmin. Évidemment, Gugelmin n'est pas encore là. Je ne sais pas. La vision sur les stands qui sont très longs ici. Ici, c'est Senna que vous voyez. Senna qui fait le vide autour de lui. En concentration absolue. Et René Arnoux qui va revenir en place. Patrese est en place maintenant. Alors tout va repartir à 0 selon le règlement. Le départ sera déclaré nul et non avenu. Et ici, on s'affaire autour de la Ferrari de Nigel Mansell. Vous voyez l'aileron. L'aileron a été arraché par cette marche volante. Alors évidemment que chez Ferrari, on aimerait bien réparer sur la grille. La voiture se trouve maintenant sur la grille juste en face de moi. Mais je crois qu'il faudra tout de même la ramener au stand, oui. Et puis là, il n'y a plus de voiture de réserve car Berger a pris déjà la voiture de réserve. Est-ce qu'on aura le temps de réparer et de permettre à Mansell de partir? Ça n'est pas sûr. Pour l'instant, Alain Prost est à bord de son habitacle, mais il a enlevé son casque. Et on revoit encore une fois le tout. Alors vous voyez, on a tout à coup le feu vert, on n'a pas eu le rouge, et Alain Prost a beaucoup patiné. Et puis Gugelmin là c'est un bon départ. Et c'est à la coupe suivante que l'on va voir cette voiture complètement folle, tout au milieu de votre écran. Ah, il a méchamment poussé Poussin.
Nous avions vu la Ferrari numéro 27 de Nigel Mansell rentrer.
Et tout le monde qui essaie de se frayer un chemin parmi les débris. Regardez, il y en a partout. Et voilà Gugelmin. Alors il y a une voiture de réserve, lui. On va essayer d'oublier ce qui s'est passé et puis on va remettre tout ça.
Il partira derrière le peloton puisque la procédure de départ est commencée.
Eh bien, il ne faut pas avoir froid aux yeux pour faire ce métier et pour remonter dans une F1, reprendre un départ qui est toujours le moment le plus dangereux. Après une pirouette pareille, certains diront que c'est de l'inconscience, d'autres diront que c'est du courage. Nous laisserons à chacun le soin d'estimer la chose comme il l'entend. Mais une chose est certaine, c'est que ce sont de vrais professionnels. Alain Prost, lui, est assez libéré de tout ce qui s'est, de toute la pression qui était sur lui ces derniers temps et qui concernait son avenir. Je vous ai dit qu'il a annoncé vendredi, on revoit encore sous un autre angle, ce carambolage invraisemblable. Alors, il a donc annoncé qu'il quitterait l'équipe McLaren Honda à la fin de cette saison. Il a reçu toutes les garanties concernant la façon équitable dont le matériel sera mis à disposition chez McLaren Honda. Et ici, vous voyez que c'est un peu la panique qui a continué avec Mansell qui est en panne, avec le désarroi un peu complet. Alors, Gugelmin aurait déclaré qu'il n'avait pas eu de problème technique. En fait, on a tout de même bien vu qu'il allumait ses roues, qu'il aurait été un peu pris en sandwich, poussé par derrière, puis par le côté droit, mais l'image ne prouve pas totalement ses dires. C'est vrai que lorsqu'il arrive une chose comme ça, il est peut-être difficile de l'analyser vraiment parfaitement. Enfin, on veut bien croire que les freins n'est pas rompu, mais une chose est certaine, c'est que la voiture était folle après qu'il ait totalement bloqué ses roues. 5 minutes. Alors le délai aura été très court. Et puisque nous parlions de l'avenir de Prost, on sait ce qu'il ne va pas faire. Il ne va pas conduire pour McLaren Honda, mais on ne sait pas ce qu'il va faire. Il est vraisemblable qu'il continuera à courir. Pour qui? Eh bien, c'est la grande interrogation. Et ceux qui, dans la presse écrite ou dans la radio, même ailleurs, ont affirmé avec beaucoup d'assurance que Prost irait ici ou que Prost irait là, sont dans le bleu le plus total, car lui-même ne sait pas, il n'a rien signé. Il n'a rien signé, il ne sait pas ce qu'il va faire, il va continuer à courir, il a des offres de Williams-Renault, c'est vrai, il a des propositions de beaucoup d'équipes, dont cette équipe Onyx, dont on disait en début de saison qu'elle ferait vite parler d'elle, ça commence à être le cas. Une équipe qui a de grands moyens financiers, qui a un potentiel technique très élevé également avec, entre autres, l'ingénieur Jenkins, qui avait été longtemps l'ingénieur de Prost chez McLaren, et Gugelmim, de même que Mansell, partiront cette fois de la pit lane, de la ligne des stands, après tout le monde. Une chose est certaine, c'est que Prost a de la suite dans les idées, car il dit qu'il ne s'entend pas avec son coéquipier, il n'a plus la pleine confiance qu'il souhaitait avoir au sein de cette équipe. Cette équipe est certainement la meilleure du moment, la plus performante, celle qui permet d'obtenir un titre mondial. Et dit, je ne m'y plais plus, je ne m'entends pas avec mon coéquipier, je pars. C'est une décision difficile et courageuse, car en l'état actuel des choses, aucune équipe ne pourrait lui apporter ce que lui apporte l'équipe McLaren Honda. Quant à savoir qui prendra sa place chez McLaren Honda, on peut supposer, mais là non plus rien n'est signé, on peut supposer que ce sera Gerhard Berger, l'Autrichien, qui a signé une option prioritaire, ce qui libérerait une place chez Ferrari et permettrait à Cesare Fiorio, le patron, le directeur technique de Ferrari, d'engager un pilote italien, car Ferrari aimerait italieniser un peu plus son équipe. On sait que la collaboration avec John Barnard, qui travaillait pour Ferrari depuis le centre de Guildford en Angleterre, cette collaboration prendra fin à l'issue de la saison. Et Italie, sur pression de Fiat peut-être, aimerait que son équipe ne soit pas dirigée techniquement par des Anglais, pilotée par un Anglais et un Autrichien. Il faut garder une couleur transalpine à cette équipe, la plus prestigieuse de toutes, la plus titrée, qui certes connaît une saison difficile. Après la victoire de Mansell, il n'y a plus rien eu. Vous voyez qu'on a revêtu, on a mis des chaussons sur les gommes des McLaren. Ici, c'est Alessandro Nannini, le frère de la célèbre Gianna Nannini, la plus célèbre de la famille. C'est sa sœur, Gianna, chanteuse rock bien connue.
De Nigel Mansell.
Le frère et la sœur Nannini, fils du meilleur pâtissier de Sienne, c'est en tout cas ce que l'on dit. Un garçon très aimable. Le profil même de l'Italien souriant et sympathique. Toujours à la Prost dans l'image, 3 fois vainqueur ici, enfin ici en France, en 81 c'était à Dijon, au volant d'une Renault, en 83 ici sur Renault encore, en 88 sur McLaren Honda ici même. Mansell a gagné 2 fois le Grand Prix de France, en 86 et 87. Arnaud une fois en 1982, Piquet une fois en 1985. Et au niveau des marques, Ferrari s'est imposé 8 fois en Grand Prix de France, la dernière fois il y a 14 ans. Lotus 7 fois, la dernière fois il y a 11 ans. Brabham 4 fois, Tyrrell 2 fois, la dernière fois il y a 17 ans. McLaren 3 fois, Williams 3 fois. Et puis Renault, qui n'est plus là qu'en tant que groupe propulseur, avait triomphé 4 fois sur ces terres. Alors on va partir pour le tour de chauffe et il va falloir libérer la piste. On discute beaucoup parce qu'il y a des questions de procédure qui sont très précises. Et puis les équipes sont à l'affût pour le dépôt éventuel d'un proté. Alors une voiture qui ne part pas là, on est autour de... Voilà, c'était la Ferrari.
James.
They got it down off the jack now, and away they go on the parade lap.
And it will still be 80 racing laps, of course. The previous start theoretically did not happen. This is a start as though it was a new race. There are the two Onyx cars, Bertram Gachot and Stefan Johansson. That's the first time that both the Onyx cars have started in a Grand Prix. They've made progress, and magnificent progress, under Michael's leadership, and designer Alan Jenkins has done a fine job on the cars. They had problems pre-qualifying at the beginning of the year. Now there is Gachot, there is Johansson, both taking part in the French Grand Prix.
Yes, and trying very hard, talking to the Onyx cars, to get a finish and to get into the points, because that could lift them out of the group that has to pre-qualify for races. They've got this race and next week's British Grand Prix in which to do a bit of scoring. They have, however, got a big worry here in that the constant velocity joints on their drive shafts have been running very hot, throwing the grease out onto the rear brakes, and Bert literally melting the boot that goes round the joint. They've ducted more air onto it, but they're very worried about their ability to last the race.
This is Thierry Bootson's, or was, Williams. Bootson's, you can see, has got a small black patch underneath the windscreen. Patrese hasn't. And actually you can see Bootson's helmet, very distinctive helmet colours in the right-hand mirror. So Thierry Boutson coming up to take his position on the grid, and his position on the grid is fifth, with just Nannini, Senna and Prost in front of him, because Nigel Mansell is not in front of the Williams as he should have been, and that gives Thierry Boutson the opportunity to get a real flyer. They're still coming round and assembling. You can see them exiting the final right-hander, which leads onto the short start and finish straight. When you see the official course car come up in the background, the lights will go on. There it is. There's less than 7 seconds after the red light. Crossed away well again now. Is Senna up or not as they come up to the first right-hander? That's Senna. Senna is off already. Prost lead, Berger second, Nannini third, Boutson in fourth position, and Ayrton Senna went off the course and is starved at the present moment. Is he coming through? I can't see the McLaren at all.
Looks terminal to me. Possibly some sort of transmission failure, broken drive shaft or something for Senna. No, then that is Senna's race over.
Now, Maurizio Gugelmin and Nigel Mansell both started the French Grand Prix, but that is the sensation straight away. Out before the race had almost effectively begun, Ayrton Senna, second in the World Championship, who has already won 3 Grand Prix this year. He will not be winning this one. But Prost now is being chased by Gerhard Berger, Nannini, Boutsen, Alliot and Riccardo Patrese. And Alliot must get points. The Lola team desperately need points in the World Championship to avoid pre-qualification after the British Grand Prix. That is Gruyard. It's Prost, Berger, Nannini, Boutsen, Alliot, Patrese, Capelli and Jonathan Palmer. 1, 2, 3, 4 and the Williams locks up the brakes. Thierry Boutsen, Alliot, Patrese and Jean Alesi has come up fast in the Tyrrell. And it looks as though the French Grand Prix is going to be a fight. Here they come. And that's Boutsen locking up his brakes in 4th position, followed by Philippe Alliot in 5th place, Riccardo Patrese in 6th position. That won't have done the tyres of Boutsen's Williams Renault very much good, but it's still Prost, Berger, there Nannini in the new Benetton 3rd position, being chased by Boutsen in 4th place. So Alain Prost now will, I suspect, know that Senna is out. And Nigel Mansell was down in 20th position at the end of the first lap. And that's Jonathan Palmer, followed by Alesi, who has come up very quickly indeed. Then the 2 Alex cars, no change the first 4. Then it's Alliot 5th, Patrese 6th, Capelli 7th, Palmer 8th, Alesi is in 9th position, and we are now on lap 3.
That's the Berger, as usual, giving it a real charge, but I suspect that Prost, and there's Mansell coming through, working his way up through the tail enders and really moving through the field pretty well. He'll be glad that his Ferrari was the quickest car in a straight line in this morning's warm-up. Ferrari very efficient aerodynamically, and Prost just starting to open a little bit of a gap, but he will be looking after his tyres. The tyres get very hot indeed here, and they quite rapidly tail off in performance. And the only way to protect oneself from that is to try and be as kind as possible to them and not throw the car around too much in the opening lap, especially with the heavy fuel load that they now have.
I draw your attention as you ride with Thierry Boutsen to the car in front. It is Alessandro Nannini, the gritty Italian, in the new Benetton. And the Ford engine has really got the power. You can see that Boutsen is only coming up to the Benetton on braking, and it's Phil Alliot 5th. There he is. It's Phil Patrese in 6th position. And it's Phil Capelli 7th, Jonathan Palmer 8th, Alesi 9th. Then the 2 Onyx cars of Gachot and Johansson, followed by Gruyard. And into the pits, Maurizio Gugelmin. Here he is, Maurizio Gugelmin. This is lap 4 now. Prost is leading. There he is, Alain Prost. Coolly leading the French Grand Prix. Berger, Nannini and Boutsen.
And we've just had news that it was transmission for Ayrton Senna. He broke 2nd gear as they went off the line.
Well, this proves that the McLarens are not invincible and are vulnerable. They have a new transmission slated to be fitted for the British Grand Prix, 6-speed transverse gearbox, but back with the French Grand Prix. It is Alain Prost. There is the broken McLaren as Prost goes through, leading, pulling away from Berger 2nd, Nannini 3rd, Boutsen in 4th position, and the gap between Prost the leader and Berger in 2nd place is 1.5 seconds. Alliot is still in 5th place in the Lola Lamborghini 12-cylinder V12 car. Capelli is coming up well, but Prost now is inching away a little down the very fast 175 mile an hour Mistral Straight into the Courbe de Cygne, which they take at about 170 miles an hour in 6th gear. Look at Nannini and Boutsen. That's the man who won in Canada 3 weeks ago, his first Grand Prix victory. But Prost, with the prospect already of 9 more World Championship points to pull him away from Senna, a man who he now appears greatly to dislike, is on his way. Berger, Nannini and Boutsen, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So it's a McLaren leading, a Ferrari 2nd, a Benetton 3rd, a Williams 4th, and there it is. B10, B12, B8, B10, Prost completes another lap. And behind, Boutsen in 4th place. Capelli now going well, is ahead of Alio. Capelli is up into 5th position. Alio is 6th. Then it's Patrese, Palmer, Alesi, the two Tyrrells together. Dasho, Johansson, Briard, Arnoux, and Nigel Mansell coming up through the field. He was in 70, he is now in 17th position. Watch the Ferrari go. Nigel Mansell, V12 Ferrari, 3rd fastest in practice, the winner of the Brazilian Grand Prix. That's Prost. Berger, Nannini, Alessandro Nannini. Is the Ford going to overheat here? It's extremely hot, over 30 degrees as I talk to you now, which isn't much help to that new engine. But Nannini is keeping ahead of the Canadian Grand Prix winner Thierry Boutsen, the Belgian, in the V10 Williams Renault. The new engine a bit disappointing, I think, to Renault, who had hoped that it would go better here. And now we're riding again with Thierry Boutsen down to the 75 mile an hour 2nd gear right-hander at the end of this. That's another lap completed. Nannini in front of Nannini is Berger, in front of Berger is Prost. Now they're into the Mistral Straight, up into 6th gear, building up from 150 miles an hour to 175 miles an hour. The Courbe de Cygne, 6th gear, 70 mile an hour, right-hander coming up now. Just imagine the stress that the left front tire is taking. Now down to the double right at De Beausset, 120 miles an hour. Nannini in front, 3rd gear here. Out into the little kink, the right-hander after the bridge, now left again. Now 4th gear right-hander at 130 miles an hour. That's it. Now the left-hander at Le Tour. Into the Virage Dupont, the right-hander, which completes another lap, which will be 7 laps. With Thierry Boutsen in the Williams, we are now. Nannini in front, 3rd. Berger in front, 2nd. And Prost is leading by 2.9 seconds in the McLaren. Centre.
Yes, with Prost just inching away, but we've got a good battle here for 2nd place. Berger will be a difficult man to pass. He's the Ferrari, very quick on the straights.
Well, there is the Ferrari, there is the Benetton, and here is the Williams Renault. Thierry Boutsen, of course, having won his first Grand Prix, has got a lot of confidence about his ability. And you can see the long train of cars going down the straight, with Prost leading by 2.9 seconds. There he is. Berger 2nd, Nannini, then Boutsen. Capelli is in 5th position, about 2 seconds behind Boutsen. Alio is 6th. Patrese is in 7th position. Behind Patrese it is Palmer, then Alesi, who is 9th. And there is a very strong rumour here at the Paul Ricard circuit that the Tyrrell team are in line for massive sponsorship next year. It looks as though there's going to be a change here with Patrese challenging Philippe Alliot, who is in 6th position. So there's Alliot in the Lola Lamborghini 6th. Riccardo Patrese is in 7th place. And this is Patrese, or that was Patrese, the camera that you saw. This is it, Riccardo Patrese. 3 times second position this year. His 183rd Grand Prix. He's got a new lease of life in the Williams Renault, and he's chasing Philippe Alliot, who had actually been fired from the Lola team, but for all sorts of reasons I can't tell you at the present moment. He got the drive, did Philippe Alliot, and he's now determined to keep it by demonstrating that he can get the first points that Lola have had. So there is Nannini, 3rd, Boutsen in 4th position. It is still Capelli 5th, Alliot 6th, Patrese 7th. And now this is Boutsen. We're riding with Boutsen as Prost comes towards us down the straight. McLaren leads with the Honda V10 engine. Calm and very collected Alain Prost. Gerhard Berger with the automatic gearbox Ferrari holding up. Nannini, Boutsen, back with Boutsen again. Now we're down the Mistral straight again with the speed rising all the time. You can almost see the abrasiveness of the surface as Thierry with his foot hard down builds up to 175 miles an hour. Flings it into the right-hander at the Course de Seine. And the new Williams, remember, this is last year's car updated with a Renault engine instead of the Judd V8 which it had last year. The new car is expected probably at the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Rapport de sabot de vitesse a littéralement éclaté, contraignant le champion du monde brésilien à l'abandon immédiat. Le retard de Mansell sur le leader est tout de même de 27 secondes. Il fait une belle remontée sur le leader est tout de même de 27 secondes. Il fait une belle remontée, mais... C'est un écart qui approche les 4 secondes maintenant.
Problems with tyre deterioration are starting to show up on the stopwatch because Prost is going now nearly a second a lap slower than he was on the 3rd and 4th laps of the race. So Prost suffering a deterioration of his tyres, but then that will be pretty much the same for everybody else in this really very high ambient temperature on the track.
Now, if things go to expectations, the first tyre changes will start round about lap 35 in this 80-lap race. And we are on lap 11 now as you watch now the very convincing race leader Alain Prost. Berger in 2nd has pulled away from Nannini 3rd, who has still got Boutsen in 4th place, very close to him. 4 different makes of cars in the first 4 places, with Capelli in the march starting to catch Boutsen. And Maurizio Gugelmin, who went into the pits, has not restarted, and you can hardly blame him. But there's Boutsen now. Look at Capelli. There he is in the new 189 March with its Judd V8 engine with a narrow angle. It's exclusive to the March team. And that car has not handled well on circuits up to France. Watching Prost now, the leader, but the March is going much better now that we're getting to the quick circuits. That's to say, France, Silverstone next week, and then Germany. And Capelli is eating into Boutsen's lead over him, with Boutsen in 4th place. Prost looking absolutely secure. That is Maurizio Gugelmin still in the pits, and we are on lap 12 in this 80-lap race. Senna's car parked on the right, and that looked like Gugelmin exiting the pits to me. Boutsen now right up with Nannini. And Capelli catching Boutsen as Modena goes through. A whole string of cars with Prost, Nannini, Boutsen, Berger, Capelli. The gap between Prost in 1st position and Capelli in 5th place is 9.5 seconds. That's Modena. Chased by Tarquini, Eddie Cheever in the Arrows. Behind Eddie Cheever, one of the Lotus cars, and Berger off. Berger goes off, rejoins, but Gerhard Berger will have picked up an enormous amount of stones, and now he's going to be taken by Capelli, and he has been taken by Nannini and Boutsen, and the race order now on lap 13 is Prost leading, Nannini second, Boutsen third, Berger in fourth position, and Capelli will soon be taking him, I think, because Berger is going to have a real struggle to get the grip back. His sticky tires will have picked up stones and dirt from the infield, which he just ran across. And you can see how close it is behind. That is Stefano Modena leading that batch. Tarquini, Chiva, Piquet. Modena is in 17th position.
Well, it looks to me as if Berger got caught out by the steady deterioration of grip. Just ran a bit wide there and then off the circuit onto all the gravel.
Well, Gerhard Berger has not gone into the pits. There is Riccardo Patrese in 7th position, and he has still got Philippe Alliot in front of him. That is the race leader. So, now on lap 14, Alain Prost is leading by 8 seconds with Nannini second, Boutsen third, Berger fourth, Capelli fifth, Alliot sixth, Patrese seventh, Palmer eighth, Alesi ninth, Gasho and Johansson in the Onyx cars 10th and 11th, and Nigel Mansell up to 12th place. Gugelmin back in the race, about to be lapped by Alain Prost. In the background, you see Nannini is not all that far behind. You can see the gap. That's Nannini second. Boutsen behind him in the Williams. So the Benetton B189 with the new Ford V8 engine is going extremely well, and so is Capelli, now right up with Berger, who has cleaned his tyres. You can see that the slick tyres have got clean lights of band across them as the sun hits them. And that means that Berger will be getting good grip, as is Alessandro Nannini. There he is, second place in the Benetton, chased by Boutsen in third place. Now, I don't think anybody, even the Benetton and Ford people, expected Nannini to be going as well as this in the first race for the new car, and Capelli is ahead of Berger.
And that's interesting because it looks as if he towed past him on the straight. And that means that the march is very quick on the straight, because the Ferraris have been consistently quick here already this weekend.
Yes, and Ivan Capelli, Dustin Hoffman is nicknamed because that's who he looks like. He's a real charger that loves fast circuits, and he's showing it now. Nigel Mansell up into 11th place as Prost comes up to lap the Sol Dallara, that of Alex Cathy. And Alex Cathy, of course, has gone extremely well in previous Grand Prix. Prost comes out of his slipstream and laps it. And Berger into the pits to get new tyres. Out he goes. So Gerhard Berger rejoins in about 8th. No, there he is behind Stefan Johansson, and Berger is down to 12th position now. He is sandwiched between the two Onyx cars, and the race order on lap 16 is Alain Prost, now 8.5 seconds. There he is, on his way at the present moment to increase his record number of wins even further to 37. He has 36 behind him. Coming up to catch at lap Mauricio Gugelmin. So Prost leading Nannini by 8.5 seconds. Boutsen in third position. There is Gugelmin about to be lapped by Prost. And Boutsen is 1.5 seconds behind Nannini. There's quite a gap then before Capelli goes through. 3.5 seconds. Here is Ivan Capelli in fourth position. And then it is Patrese with Alliot right behind him. Alliot holding that sixth position. If Balola is reliable, they'll get their first points, and they need them.
Now Prost has been following Gugelmin for 2 or 3 laps now as Patrese goes through. And of course with Gugelmin being on fresher rubber, having sat in the pits for some while on the early laps of the race, he's probably got more grip than Prost, but Prost really won't want to have him in front of him because it will be inhibiting Prost's lap times. His aerodynamics won't work so well following through the hole in the air made by the march. And Prost would like to get past him.
Yeah, and on lap 18, Nannini is lapping marginally faster than Prost, who now goes through and takes Capelli. The gap is 8.7 seconds, 8.8 to be exact, to the nearest tenth. Alain Prost leading Nannini, with Boutsen still in third place, Capelli up to fourth position, and Alain Prost, having lapped Mauricio Gugelmin, goes on his way as Ricardo Patrese goes through fifth, Philippe Alliot sixth. Jonathan Palmer is in seventh place now, only 3 seconds behind Alliot, as Prost speeds down the long straight into the Courbe de Cygne, and Alesi is in 8th place in the Tyrrell in his first Grand Prix behind his teammate Jonathan Palmer. So, race order with Nigel Mansell in 10th position is on lap 18 out of 80. Prost leading, Nannini second, Boutsen third, Capelli fourth, Patrese fifth, Alliot sixth, Palmer seventh, Alesi eighth, Gachot ninth, Mansell 10th, Johansson 11th, Gerhard Berger, who has been in for new tyres and out again, in 12th position. Race leader Alain Prost, who will be seeing what for him is a very pleasant sight every lap. The other McLaren, that of his teammate Ayrton Senna, Prost's only competition for the World Championship at the moment, parked alongside the course. And that is Capelli. Right behind Capelli, you can see the Ferrari. I tell a lie, it is the Dallara, my apologies, of Alex Cappy, whose teammate Andrea De Cesaris failed to qualify. So Capelli tried to do something about the gap between himself and Boutsen, who is in third place. There's a long gap between Capelli and Patrese now, who is fifth, and Alliot, who is sixth. And that is Alex Cappy, a point scorer in Grand Prix at Monaco and in Canada. But he's got the wrong tyres for this race. Modena, Tarquini, Chiva, Piquet, and bringing out the rear is Pirot, and they're about to be lapped by race leader Alain Prost. There he is, and Pirot is in 20th place. So on lap 19, Alain Prost is about to lap Emanuele Pirot in the B188 Benetton, driving in his first Grand Prix. And Prost looking amazingly steady. That is unsurprising. The car beautifully set up. And into the pits comes Alex Cappy. I'm sure for new tyres, they've been having a lot of problems. And that means to say that Palmer is now in 8th position, but significantly his teammate Alesi in his first Grand Prix, the man who's leading the European Formula 3000 Championship, is ahead of Palmer and up into 7th place, almost in the points in his first Grand Prix.
Mais oui, on voit quelque chose tout de même, puisque c'est un peloton auquel il va falloir s'attaquer et leur prendre un tour. Regardez le freinage avec Donnelly qui a allumé ses roues. Et Prost qui...
Selection of cars and lap them, and that'll give Alessandro Nannini 10 seconds behind him the opportunity to close the gap. But then, of course, Nannini himself is going to face exactly the same problem. certainly one of the surprises of this race has to be how well Nannini is going in the brand new Benetton 4.
Certainly, yes. We waited a long time for them to produce the car. They had a lot of troubles initially with the engine and the new chassis. It was all suffering from being a bit new, but now it's finally appeared, and it certainly looks to be very impressive. Now, Prost has reached the train ahead of him, and a big train it is too. So he's got a lot of work to do to start fighting his way past these people. Way through very correctly. Prost is going to hope most of these cars, he's probably got a little bit of a power advantage over them, and that will help him get through.
Yeah, Pirro has just let the boss through in effect, because Pirro is McLaren's test driver in Japan and has been specially released by the McLaren headman Ron Dennis to take the Benetton drive. And into the pits goes Nigel Mansell. Oh dear, Nigel Mansell from 11th position has gone into the pits. So with Berger down in 9th position, now Alain Prost is coming up to take Martin Donnelly, who has got ahead of him Pierluigi Martini in the Minardi. And you can see now, with Pirro behind Alain Prost as he goes down the short straight into the right hand. There's Modena, Tarquini, Cheever, Piquet and Martini. Prost has taken Martin Donnelly. And is now setting about the next chap in front of him, who is Pierluigi Martini in the new Minardi, the little ex-European Formula 3000 Championship driver. Drives straight past him. Now there's Piquet in the Lotus Judd, not the Lotus Tickford Judd. That is to say, the Judd V8 engine with the 5-valve Tickford engine in it. That was used during practice, but is not being raced. And we are now on lap 23 in this 80-lap French Grand-Pri, round 7 of the championship. Prost is past Martini. Nigel Mansell is down to 15th position. Martini in 20th place. Ahead of him, Piquet in 19th position. Then ahead of Nelson Piquet is Eddie Cheever. Prost is past Piquet then, 19th. That gives you an indication of the comparative performances of the Lotus Judd and the McLaren Honda with its V10 engine. And now Prost is coming up to Eddie Cheever, who finished 3rd in Phoenix. Replay. Prost through. Piquet drops back. Now Prost has got his sights set on Eddie Cheever in the Arrows Ford in 18th position. And Cheever is taking the opportunity to attack Gabriele Tarquini in the AGS in 17th position. And Modena is leading the whole bunch in the Brabham with its Pirelli cars in 17th position. Martin Brundle, Modena's teammate, sadly failed to qualify, to pre-qualify.
Yes, strangely enough, Pirelli tires have been a problem here for those teams that are running them. They just seem to be very uncompetitive, which is quite a surprise considering they do a lot of testing here. It's fairly local for them. And that is presumably why Modena has acquired this large train behind him as Prost dips out to go past Cheever. And he's picking them off one a lap. Nannini has gone into the pits.
Yes, Alessandro Nannini from his 4th position, goes with Prost leading. Boots in 2nd now. Capelli in 3rd position. Alessandro Nannini into the pits. Now we're concentrating on Prost lapping people, so I can't tell you whether it's just for tyres. But now anyway, Prost is past Gabriele Tarquini in 17th position. Ahead of the AGS is the Brabham of Stefano Modena.
and working through the train, has seriously eaten into Alain Prost's lead, not surprisingly, and it's now down to 6.5 seconds, or was the last time they crossed the line, but it's only Modena to go for him now, so he'll be very relieved when he gets past Modena, knowing full well that Boutsen, who's now in second place, will have to set about that huge queue, and it's bound to be delayed somewhat by that.
So as Prost comes up to Stefano Modena and takes him, he's lapped everybody up to 15th position, and in 15th position at the moment is Nigel Mansell, who we expected to be the main opposition to the two McLarens, or rather the one McLaren now, with Ayrton Senna out of the race. And Ayrton Senna, of course, has got his points from 3 wins this year. 3 nines, 27 points, and Boutsen. No, that's Riccardo Patrese chasing Alessandro Nannini, who is back on the course again, and he's in 4th position.
Yes, that was a very quick stop indeed by Nannini, and on fresh rubber, of course, he will inevitably have more grip than Patrese.
Now the gap between race leader Alain Prost and the second man, which was at one time 10 seconds, is now only just over 5. Look for Thierry Boutsen, but Prost, of course, has got a clear track in front of him. There is Boutsen, and Boutsen has got the opportunity now with the straight to get past a couple of people and hopefully maintain the narrowed gap between himself and race leader Alain Prost, who has already won in Phoenix this year with 3 second places. But Thierry Boutsen's hanging on well. The gap's increased actually to 7 seconds now, because Boutsen is caught up with the midfield men that he is in the process of lapping. But on lap 27 out of 80, Prost leads Boutsen by 7 seconds. Capelli is 3rd in the march, so it's McLaren, Williams march. Nannini is in 4th position, Patrese is 5th, and Alio is 6th.
Yes, the Benetton team stop for Nannini actually only cost him 20 seconds on the road overall, and that is a super quick stop with accelerating and decelerating to be taken into account, and for sure that was well under 10 seconds actually stopped for tyre changing. And Nannini is now the fastest man on the circuit, has just put up a new fastest lap, taking advantage of his fresh, nice cold tyres, or relatively cold.
And the fastest lap, that of Alessandro Nannini, is 1 minute 12 seconds compared with the lap record of Nelson Piquet, 1 minute 9.5 seconds. And that is Thierry Boutsen coming out of Gugelmin's slipstream, but Gugelmin nips across, shuts the door, prevents Boutsen from going past. There wasn't very much else he could do there without running off the course, but Boutsen's lost a lot of time and distance, and you can see Nannini now is gaining on Capelli and Boutsen. Now I'll show you. There's Cheever, there is Boutsen, and he is in second position now, 8.8 seconds behind Prost, showing you how he's being held up. And this is Boutsen, and he's got one of the Lotus cars in front of him. It'll be that of Nelson Piquet, who is chasing Gugelmin in the march. So there is the yellow Lotus in front. 3 times world champion Nelson Piquet, and Boutsen is going through. They almost touch wheels. Boutsen sprints through using the superior power of the V10 Renault engine, moves up a place. This is lap 28. Now he's got the 188 march of Gugelmin as Capelli goes into the pits. In the background, Ivan Capelli, who was in 3rd position, goes into the pits, and so that means to say that Nannini will now be up into 3rd place. You just saw Capelli stopping there. Here's the second place man, Boutsen, now looking at Ivan Capelli, who's losing places all the time. New tyres out of the pits. And he rejoins in 7th place, and that was a very quick stop. But the fastest man on the circuit at the present moment is Alessandro Nannini, who has rejoined after fitting new tyres. Now the camera that you're seeing is that of Thierry Boutsen. There he is. Still held up. There's not as much of a speed differential between Gugelmin's March and Boutsen's Williams as there was between Prost, who went, and the others, who got past them very quickly indeed. And he's now pulling away. Alain Prost is leading on lap 29 in this 80-lap race by some 12 or 13 seconds. In fact, it's 14 seconds. Boutsen passing Gugelmin. Now Tarquini. That's the AGS of Gabriele Tarquini, taking the place of the stricken Philippe Streff, who I'm glad to tell you is improving all the time.
Ricard, Tracy Boutsen's teammate, has just gone into the pits for tyres, so it's all change time, and you see there Boutsen getting the advantage of the toe, towing up, and the Ferrari into the pits. That's Berger back in the pits. So these tyres obviously struggling badly in this heat for everybody. And there was one of the Onyxes just exiting the pits. And it looks like end of the day's work for Gerhard Berger. They were pushing the car back into the garage.
Berger out of the race on lap 30, and what is now looking like, increasingly so, a victory for Alain Prost as Boutsen finally gets past Stefano Modena. Piquet goes into the pits. Nelson Piquet in the Lotus. Let's watch this tyre change as Berger, helmet off, walks away from the Ferrari through the garage, probably to leave the circuit almost immediately. Nelson Piquet's pit stop is completed. We are now on lap 31, and somebody's gone off. It was Nannini who went into the rough stuff there.
But with somebody else, we couldn't see what had happened, and
I think it was Gabriele Tarquini, but now on lap 31, race order, Alain Prost is leading Thierry Boutsen by nearly 17 seconds. This is Patrase's car that we're riding. Here's a replay. Now look back along the corner and you will see, I think, Alessandro Nannini going off. You can see the high curbing in the background, but we don't see the actual incident itself. So, start again. Alain Prost is leading Thierry Boutsen by some 17, 18 seconds.
Qui a bien porté son nom avant-hier. Hier, c'était plutôt la tramontane. Aujourd'hui, très très peu de vent. Et évidemment, un problème de boîte de vitesse pour Berger. Alors, il reste une Ferrari en course, celle de Mansell qui est 10e. Et arrêt d'Alliot. Arrêt de Philippe Alliot qui était bien.
Palmer is up into 6th place. Both Tyrrells are in the top 6. And it looks as though Philippe Alliot, who drove so well after being shown the departure sign for Lola, is out of the race, having been in the points for a long time. But behind Palmer in 7th place is Patrese. Mansell is 8th. Johansson is 9th. Bernard is 10th. Nakajima is 11th. And Grillard is 12th as Alliot certainly retires.
yes, but one must say the Lola Lamborghinis have certainly impressed for speed. The engine seems to be pretty competent when it's running. One cannot say the same for their reliability, though. They've been very unreliable, particularly in the engine department, but they are steadily improving.
Well, we're looking still at this titanic scrap between Stefano Modena in the Brabham Judd, chased by Eddie Cheever. They are respectively 14th and 15th. Behind them is Martin Donnelly in the Arrows in his first Grand Prix.
And Boutsen has made his tyre stop. and that was quite a slow one, or certainly compared with Nannini's, some 6 seconds overall, and that leaves Prost leading Nannini now by 27 seconds. So Prost has really stretched it out, and still he hasn't had the need to go in for tyres.
Well, here is Boutsen with a clear track in front of him on new rubber, having made his stop, so he can really charge now. I was about right. I said I thought they'd come in round about lap 35, and it's now lap 34. Boutsen's been in, as have several other people before him for that matter. And Alio retired with an engine problem, as we just saw when he went off the course. And Boutsen really going for it now. Now there is Philippe Alliot in the inset talking to race marshals and officials, very sadly no doubt, because if he'd got that point for Lola, it would almost certainly have saved them from having to pre-qualify after the British Grand Prix in the second half of this 16-race season. This is the 7th race and the British Grand Prix is the 8th. We're watching Thierry Boutsen, or we're with Thierry Boutsen in 5th position, and ahead of him 4th is Alesi, 3rd is Capelli, 2nd is still Nannini, who is now 28 seconds behind Alain Prost. And this is all a very bitter pill for Ayrton Senna to swallow as Prost comes into the pits. Now, we're going to see the race leader and World Championship leader, Alain Prost, having, I imagine, an immaculate pit stop. McLaren are extremely good at this sort of thing. His visor is being cleared. And that was a nice, clean, easy, unworried pit stop. Alain Prost rejoins to complete the rest of the race. He's got 45 laps to do. And so you can expect the gap to come down a lot, but you'll notice that he has come in, stopped, taken on new tyres and rejoined the race without losing his lead, with Nannini in 2nd place, Capelli in 3rd position, Jean Alesi in his first Grand Prix, driving the Tyrrell Ford in a superb 4th position. And if one man is going to be overjoyed here, it's Eddie Jordan, the man for whose team Jean Alesi drives, and who has brought on Eric Bernard and Emanuele Pirro and Martin Donnelly. So all the 4 new drivers here in the French Grand Prix, having their first World Championship race, are Eddie Jordan protégés. The Irishman will be absolutely overjoyed. Here's Satoru Nakajima in the Lotus, exiting the pits, and we're on lap 35. Nakajima rejoins just in front of Prost. You'll see Prost come into the picture next.
Yes, and Prost, of course, with his pit stop, that lap has emerged still just over 6 seconds ahead of Alessandro Nannini.
So he's lost 22 seconds for that pit stop, but that means that slowing down from 175 miles an hour on the Mistral Straight to stationary in the pits and rejoining and building up to racing speed again has only cost him that time, 22 seconds, including changing all 4 wheels and tyres, and he really has got nothing to worry about. The man who must be very worried here at Paul Ricard is Ayrton Senna, who broke his 2nd gear getting away from the start and started this race 2 points behind his disliked by him, by Senna, not by us, Alain Prost teammates. 2 points in the World Championship, and if Prost finishes where he is now in 1st position, that gap is going to have increased to 11 points. Riccardo Patrese is just out of the points at the present moment in this race, but is 3rd in the World Championship. And of course, if he finishes in the points, he is going to close the gap between himself and Ayrton Senna. So Prost leading on lap 37 from Nannini. The gap 6 seconds has shrunk as much as it has because of Prost's tyre stop. Capelli is some 7 seconds in third position behind Nannini. Alesi is coincidentally 7 seconds behind Capelli in fourth place. Thierry Boutsen is in fifth position. Riccardo Patrese is now in the points. Both the Williams cars in fifth and sixth position are in the points. And Jonathan Palmer, who is eighth behind Nigel Mansell, seventh, has just gone into the pits, which means to say that Eric Bernard, another first-timer in the Lola, taking up the cudgels that Philippe Alliot had reluctantly to drop, is in ninth position, with Gachot in his first Grand Prix in 10th place. Grillard is 11th. Gachot's Onyx teammate Stefan Johansson is in 12th position. And Satoru Nakajima is in 13th place and has been lapped. So Prost has lapped everybody up to 12th position. You've just seen it go through the picture. There's Nannini, second. He's holding the gap at just over 6 seconds at the moment. The new Benetton Ford going extremely well. They had some handling problems on the first day of practice, but managed to dial them out yesterday, as a result of which Nannini finished a sterling fourth on the grid for the start of this race.
I'm pretty sure that Prost is trying to bring these tyres in gently, the new set that he's got on, because he's not going nearly as quickly as, for example, Nannini did when he came straight out on a new set. And a full second of that quicker than Prost is going, but I think Prost is just tiptoeing it round to in the interests of durability.
This time last year, as you watch Alessandro Nannini in second place, we were talking about the dominance of the McLaren steamroller, which was pressing everything into the ground. Not quite like that this year. McLaren have got a very considerable 25-point lead in the Constructors' Championship, but Mansell won in Brazil. Then there were 4 McLaren victories in succession, but Senna failed to finish, of course, in Phoenix. Neither of the McLarens finished in Canada. And now there is only one McLaren left, albeit in first place. Number 2, double world champion Alain Prost, with this quite incredible record of his. When I say incredible, I mean that as long ago as 1981, Prost finished 5th in the World Championship. Then he was 4th in 82, second 2 years running in 83 and 84, when he lost the World Championships of the last race to, first of all, Nelson Piquet and then Niki Lauda. Then World Champion twice in 85 and 86, 4th in 87, and he's leading the World Championship now. That is Jean Alesi.
Yes, Alesi having a tremendous debut. He's been having a very good season in Formula 3000. And it looks as if he's going for the pits. Yes, that's Jonathan Palmer. Beg your pardon. Meanwhile, Prost has speeded up a bit and has stretched the gap to nearly 8 seconds to Nannini now.
And as Jonathan Palmer takes his pit stop, you can see the activity there. It's the second time that the Tyrrell's been in for tires.
Il repart, Jonathan Palmer, record du tour pour Sandro Nannini, 1:12.408. C'est pas le record du tour, c'est le meilleur tour. Ce record est de 1:09.548.
Ex-rally driver in the Lancia Stratos. Came up through single-seaters in the conventional way. That is Capelli. There is Eddie Cheever, and the race order on lap 40, which is half distance, is Prost leading by just about 8 seconds from Alessandro Nannini, and that is the man, Ivan Capelli, in the 1989 March, in third position, and off goes Nannini, a really big one.
Yes, that was a suspension failure. You just saw the rear wheel come completely adrift. And luckily, down the old circuit, nothing to hit. And it appears that, luckily for Nannini, he was able to slither down the old track and come to rest unscathed. But I think that here we go again now. You watch the left rear wheel. There it goes, left rear wheel. Suspension breaks somewhere, it all comes adrift, and he just missed BK's Lotus, and that would have been quite nasty if he'd caught that Lotus, because believe me, he would have been not a lot of control in that. When the rear wheel comes adrift, the car takes over, there's nothing the driver can do, so that was lucky for both of them.
Indeed it was, and sadly, after a superb drive in the brand new car in its first Grand Prix, as you watch Alain Prost, it means to say that now up into second position comes Ivan Capelli in the 1989 March, with a considerable gap, something like 16.5 seconds between himself and race leader Alain Prost, who is out on his own on the circuit, on his way to his second victory in 7 races in 1989. There he is, and he's up with the Onyx of Stefan Johansson, and Johansson is in 10th position. Race order, it's Prost catching Johansson to lap him. The Onyx, Capelli second, 16.5 seconds behind Prost. The two Tyrrells are now up into 3rd and 4th places. Ken Tyrrell, who has hung on for so long, using his own money to keep the team afloat and to finance the new car which Harvey Postlethwaite designed, has now got sponsorship, heavy sponsorship, and the cars are doing well. Notably, Jean Alesi, Prost, Capelli, Alesi, Patrese up into 4th position, Boutsen up into 5th, Mansell into 6th position, Palmer's been into the pits, and Prost now laps veteran Stefan Johansson, who is driving, if my memory serves me correctly, in his 7th Grand Prix team for Onyx, intent on finishing. This is a replay as Prost comes out of the slipstream of Stefan Johansson and goes through.
Yes, that's been a good spot for him, with the power of the Honda engine coming away from the slow hairpin down past the pits, to be able to get alongside the back markers and get past them pretty comfortably.
Jonathan Palmer down to 17th position as a result of that pit stop, but now on lap 43 in this 80-lap race, Alain Prost is leading Capelli by 16.5 seconds. Alesi is there in 3rd position. Riccardo Patrese is 4th, and he is only some 12 seconds behind as Palmer comes out of the pits. In 5th position is Nigel Mansell. Mansell fighting up through the field is in 5th position in the Ferrari, and in 6th position, having made tyre change, Thierry Boutsen. So there is Alesi, followed by Gugelmin, who is well down, of course, because he has been into the pits.
Alesi really having a most impressive drive, and one must say that also the new Tyrrell car is impressed more and more each race when we've seen it, and it certainly, one has to say that it must be a very good chassis indeed.
Hence, no doubt, the substantial sponsorship which it is rumoured, I believe it to be a fact, but it is rumoured that Ken Tyrrell has got for the car next season. And that's all he needs, really. He's got a fine basis to build on, to an excellent driver in Jonathan Palmer. It is hoped by the team that Michele Alboreto will be back in the Tyrrell team for the British Grand Prix next weekend. And now we are with Thierry Boutsen, who is in 6th position. Now watch the driver's hand as he comes across to change gear at the end of this long straight. Well, he'll see where he is actually, because he's approaching the Courbe de Signes. This is a 170 mile an hour right-hander, now down to the double right at Beausset. See how long he goes, and I say tremendous strain on the tyres. He'll be in 5th or 4th gear now, down to 3rd here, stays in 3rd. Then he'll start changing up to go through the Epingle up to Ben D'Or, the right-hander, at 130 miles an hour. And this is it. Now down to La Tour, the left-hander, tiny little short straight. The right-hander at the bridge turn, the Virage du Pont, second gear, 75 miles an hour. Over the starting grid, the pits and garages and grandstand on the right. And Thierry Boutsen now, there, out of the race, has gone Ivan Capelli. And Capelli, of course, was in second position. So now, Alesi is in second place. This is absolutely sensational. There he is, Jean Alesi, the young Frenchman, 25 years old, who lives in Oxford, incidentally. Jean Alesi is in second place in his first Grand Prix, an amazing achievement. So, Prost leading, Alesi second, Patrese in third position, Nigel Mansell up to fourth. This race is developing in terms of excitement almost second by second, and you're watching a quite incredible Grand Prix debut now of Jean Alesi, a man who started his career in karts, went on to Formula Renault and saloon car racing, then up into Formula 3, where he was the champion of France in 1987. He takes his teammate, Jonathan Palmer, up into Formula 3000, now to Formula 1, and he's second in his very first Grand Prix. He's 32 seconds, Alesi, number 4, followed by number 3, his teammate Jonathan Palmer. Alesi is 32.7 seconds behind Alain Prost, and we are on lap 46 with Patrese 3 seconds behind Alesi. Mansell 1 second behind Patrese, and hopefully we will see that soon, because Nigel Mansell up into 4th position. Here is the race leader Alain Prost, about to take Olivier Grillard, the Frenchman, who is in 8th place. So Prost fairly slicing through the field, about to lap 8th man, Olivier Grillard. The circuit is getting comparatively deserted in parts now, because with Prost on his 47th lap, there's the long gap. Now there's Alesi, past me, there he is. And you can see Patrese coming up. Now watch this, number 4, Jean Alesi, Tyrrell Ford, second position. Behind him, Palmer, who is on a different lap.
Yes, just behind that are Patrese and Mansell. So it looks like the field of concertineering up towards what may be a big battle for second place. And what a test this is going to be for young Jean Alesi in his first Grand Prix. If and when he starts getting Patrese and Mansell breathing down his neck.
And he's going to do that very shortly. You're watching the man who's in second place, Jean Alesi. There in the background is Riccardo Patrese. Catching him fast in 5th position, Nigel Mansell. Patrese 4th, of course. Patrese 3rd, of course. My apologies. Mansell in 4th position. So, Alesi goes through. Second position. Completes the lap. Patrese is coming up to lap Gugelmin, with Nigel Mansell getting bigger in his mirrors all the time. Alesi, second. Completed the straight into the short link before the Mistral straight, turn right. The gap between Alesi in second place and Patrese in third is 3 seconds. The gap between third and fourth, Patrese and Mansell, is 1.2 seconds. But Patrese has got to pass and lap Gugelmin, then he's got to get past Palmer before he can set about Alesi, the man that you're looking at now in this incredible first Grand Prix drive of his. Into the pits goes one of the Onyx, and at last, Donnelly off. Donnelly goes off. I thought he was taking Stefano Modena. He's overshot. He's gone down the escape road, and you can see that there is plenty of it. So this is Martin Donnelly substituting for Derek Warwick, who hurt his back in a karting accident in Jersey, but he's hoping to drive in the British Grand Prix, and Donnelly has stalled it. Watch him go off in the replay. And so still Alain Prost is leading the French Grand Prix as he comes up towards his 50th lap. Push me, push me, push me, says Martin Donnelly, and Alesi is into the pits. Jean Alesi has gone into the pits from second position. Patrese has moved up into second place. is the replay of Martin Donnelly safely going off to his and Lacey is now back onto the circuit, and we are on lap 49 in this 80-lap race, with Prost now holding a very secure lead of 38 seconds, and amazingly back into his customary second position has gone Riccardo Patrese, the man who finished there in Canada and Phoenix and Mexico, and he's now on schedule for his fourth successive second place in a Grand Prix, and this for Riccardo Patrese, the most experienced Grand Prix driver of them all, is his 183rd Grand Prix.
Alors, Patrese deuxième à 38 secondes, troisième Mansell maintenant. Et voilà, allez-y, oui, qui s'était arrêté pour changer de pneumatique. Il a perdu pas mal de temps. Troisième Mansell. Allez-y est quatrième, oui, quatrième allez-y. Cinquième Woodson. Et sixième, qui est sixième, alors ce serait Grouillard. Et oui, Woodson alors perd beaucoup de terrain, oui, c'est Woodson qui est au ralenti sur la rectiligne du Mistral. Je crois que Woodson ne terminera pas, ou en tout cas pas dans les points, car il est au grand ralenti, de même que Nelson Piquet, que Nakajima, pardon. Abandon de Nakajima. Alors, Prost, Patrese, Mansell. Et Gachot, problème de moteur également. Mais je pense que maintenant il faudrait nous montrer la bagarre entre Patrese et Mansell pour la deuxième place.
He doesn't need to be the hero of France, he is already, and we're riding with Riccardo Patrese as Boutsen comes into the pits. Thierry Boutsen coming into the pits from 8th position. No, he's in 8th position as I talk to you.
And that looked like a retirement for Boutsen. He seemed to be driving the thing into the garage. Hounding Riccardo Patrese. Unfortunately, with neither of them being French, we're not allowed to see that battle, because that is certainly the current excitement of the race, particularly with those two cars in front that they're trying to lap.
But this is a quite stunning drive for Alain Prost, and here's another one. Patrese and Mansell together. There's the Englishman, and here is Patrese. We're riding with Riccardo Patrese, second, 38 seconds behind Prost, but only about 7/10 of a second less than that as I talk to you, ahead of Nigel Mansell, who's coming up to try and take second position from him. Now, Patrese, as you can see, has got to lap the car ahead of him. That's one of the Onyx cars being shown in the inset, for what reason I do not know. But there's Patrese, he's got Gugelmin in front of him, and Mansell behind him. There's Mansell in the inset, and they're on the fastest part of the course now, and Patrese is certainly not going to make things easy for Mansell, who's now right up with the Williams. As you can see, you might even any moment on Patrase's on-car camera see the Ferrari of Nigel Mansell come out from behind the Williams Renault and go up into second place. If he does, it will have been a quite incredible drive by the Englishman, who is more relaxed, more cheerful and more composed than I think I have ever seen him. He was very, very relaxed before this race began. He's had to face some real problems. He's fought back as you would expect him to. He's now up to third position, just behind the car that we're riding with, Riccardo Patrese, hitting the gear lever there. And still, interestingly, not really making up any time or distance on Gugelmin. By the way, Eric Bernard, who was in sixth position in his first Grand Prix in the Lola Lamborghini, has gone into the pits. But we're watching all the time as you ride with Riccardo Patrese with Gugelmin in front of him. The battle for second position with Nigel Mansell in the background. There you can see the Lola going very slowly up to the right-hander, letting people through. And that, of course, was Eric Bernard, who's out of the pits and has sensibly moved over. Now, is Mansell going to get past?
Well, the problem that they both have, of course, is that the March is very quick on the straight, and that's stopping Boots from being able to get past, but at least he's getting towed along by it, which makes him, of course, more difficult to pass for Mansell.
Yes, Riccardo Patrese in second position, being chased by Nigel Mansell. But now we're looking at race leader Alain Prost, who's got it in the bag. 40-second lead for the sole McLaren that is left. V10 Honda engine. Yet another victory for the Japanese power, which has won so many with Williams and Lotus and McLaren, and deservedly so. They make an enormous effort with some tremendously experienced and capable people, and Alain Prost is leading Patrese by 40 seconds. But look, now there's the battle again, and Patrese is right with Gugelmin. He's going to try and go through now. It's vital for him to do so.
Yes, he just can't quite get into that attacking, overtaking position. And very good news for the Onyx team, because Stefan Johansson has moved up into fifth place, and that, of course, is vital. If he can just get a finish and lose no more places. He's just past Griard. He's some way behind Alesi, but the Onyx team desperately needs some points.
Yes, that's Johansson there, but if Stefan can get 1 point for Onyx, it means that they will almost certainly not have to pre-qualify in the second half of the season. Now, we've made several references to this. If it's confusing you, the situation in a nutshell is that Formula One Grand Prix racing is so popular these days that more cars and drivers want to take part than the 26 who are allowed to in every Grand Prix, and as a result of that, some 9 or 10 people have to pre-qualify on Friday morning for just 4 places in the practice sessions, and it means extra time. Your facilities are not as good. You're in a bad part of the paddock, almost invariably, certainly here in France. And if Onyx can get 1 point with Stefan Johansson, they will be able to put that behind them after the British Grand Prix, to their enormous relief. And now on lap 56 in this 80-lap race, with Prost leading Patrese by 41.5 seconds, and he has now gone through onto his 57th lap. It's still Mansell in third position, chasing Patrese in second, and making a terrific scrap of it every inch of the way. In fourth position, it's Alesi. Fifth is Johansson. In sixth position is Griard. There is the battle for second place. That's Patrese. He still hasn't caught Gugelmin. Mansell still hasn't caught Patrese. Well, he's up with him, but he can't get past him. And Maurizio Gugelmin, I told you earlier on, and it still applies, is the man who's put up the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 12.090 seconds, compared with Piquet's 1987 lap record in the Williams Honda of 1 minute 9.5. So Patrese and Mansell have picked the toughest nut in the race to try and crack, but my goodness, they're trying.
Yes, and that's as close as Mansell's been for a couple of laps, but the power of the Renault is, as Mansell starts to pick up the toe, but he's just not quite close enough. The Renault power just keeping the Williams in front. And still Gugelmin defies their efforts, Patrase's efforts to get absolutely on terms with him to try and get by. But he is doing Patrese a bit of a favour, because Patrese will be picking up a toe from the march, is sitting in his hole in the air, which makes him therefore slightly quicker on the straight than he would be if he was in still air, and that makes it more of a problem for Mansell to get on terms from behind.
And hats off to Eric Bernard in the Lola Lamborghini, who is following Nigel Mansell. He's a long way behind in the race, but on the track he's not only very close, but he's hanging on extremely well as we watch this terrific battle for second place between the V10 Renault-powered Williams and the V12 Ferrari of Nigel Mansell. Mansell, who won in Brazil but has failed to score any points, now looking as though he might get 4 at least here.
And now Gugelmin is pulling away slightly from this group, and if he can get clear of them, that may well help Mansell when Patrese has to go through still air. If Mansell can get very close, then maybe he will be able to tow past on the straight.
Il en marquerait 4, il peut en espérer 6. Et si Prost mène sa course victorieuse à terme, eh bien ce sera la 12e fois qu'il s'imposera en étant parti de la pole position. Senna a réussi cet exploit à 13 reprises. Et puis le record appartient à Jim Clark et Juan Manuel Fangio avec 15 victoires après être parti de la pole position. Ferrari a réussi 57 fois, Lotus 47 fois et McLaren 32 fois jusqu'à aujourd'hui. Tout peut sembler facile quand on regarde cela de l'extérieur, mais lorsque l'on voit à la caméra la prise de vue dans le cockpit, on se rend compte que c'est tout sauf facile. Mansell est très près de Patrese maintenant. Derrière, le là de Eric Bernard est à un tour. Et le déclenchement de la course de signe à pleine vitesse. Garder une concentration absolue. Cette fois, c'est la sortie de route. Et la Williams semble tanguer un peu. Survireuse dans le deuxième droit du fossé. Cette expression. Il tourne toujours à l'avantage de Patrese qui prend un petit peu sa distance sur la rectiligne.
extremely difficult man to pass when he doesn't want to be passed, and who does? But Ricard, that's the answer. Patrese loses it onto the grit and the chippings and the stones. Well, he's recovered well enough, but his tyres will be in a dreadful state when he gets back onto the circuit. And Nigel Mansell has succeeded with his objective. He has pushed Riccardo Patrese so hard that the Italian has gone off. And now, Nigel Mansell is through up into an incredible second place in the French Grand Prix after starting from the pit lane.
Yes, we're having a look at it again, and that was a bad mistake by Patrese. He just got the back going on turn into the corner, and pressure from Mansell, but really a driver of his experience should not just lose the car like in that way, but at least he's got going again, Patrese, but he lost a lot of time on the gravel there, and when he gets back on the circuit, that'll clean off on the very first corner he comes to, and then the car will be all right. But Patrese threw away his current second place, and Mansell will be very grateful to him for that, because that saves him a lot of bother.
And there he is, as Alain Prost goes up to the right-hander at the end of a lap. Nigel Mansell up into second place. And Riccardo Patrese, I had a quick look while James was talking about the tyres. Indeed, they are clean. The friction from the tarmac has cleaned off the stones and the muck. But Patrese lost time. Alain Prost is now through. He is on his 63rd lap.
Yes, and Prost looks very comfortable. He's lapping very consistently. Lap times are all within a couple of tenths of each other, and I'm sure probably 3/4 of a second less worse than he could do if he was under pressure. So Prost is quite clearly looking after the car, and at this stage driving for a finish. He's 43 seconds ahead of Nigel Mansell. No possible reason to hurry. And Patrese recovered quickly enough to remain in third place, but he's now 13 seconds behind Mansell, and unless Mansell has trouble, I don't think Patrese is going to catch that up before the end of the race.
By the way, Martin Donnelly is back in the French Grand Prix. He has rejoined. You saw him stalled and being recovered by the marshals, but he's back in the running now. And on the 64th lap, as you look at Alain Prost, he is leading by nearly 45 seconds. Nigel Mansell second, Patrese third, Alesi fourth, excellent. Johansson in fifth position in the Onyx, Griard sixth, Bernard seventh, Cheever eighth, Pirot ninth in his first Grand Prix, 2 laps down. Nelson Piquet is 10th, Modena is 11th, Palmer is 12th, Donnelly is 13th, Gachot in the second Onyx is in 14th place. Alain Prost has lapped everybody up to, and you're looking at Prost now, up to Jean Alesi, number 4 in the yellow and blue Tyrrell, who is in 4th position. Looking good for 3 World Championship points in his very first Grand Prix.
And Stefan Johansson is holding down 5th place for the Onyx team, but he doesn't have a big lead, just over 3 seconds to Griard, so a lot of work yet to do to defend that place for Johansson.
And as you watch Nigel Mansell coming up behind the Tyrrell, let me point out to you, and the Tyrrell is that of Jonathan Palmer, and Palmer is in 11th position, and he's 2 laps behind the leader. And on the other hand, Nigel Mansell, of course, is on the same lap as Alain Prost, as is Riccardo Patrese and Jean Alesi, who has still not been lapped. Let me point out to you how well the Ferrari is going, and I hope I'm not tempting fate by doing so. This is lap 65, and although Berger has long since disappeared when he came into the pits, he was not altogether unexpected to do that, because at the end of the assembly lap, before the race began, Berger shot into the pits and took over the spare car, and that very rapidly had something go wrong with it. Mansell now coming out to take Jonathan Palmer and lap him, and his Ferrari, Nigel Mansell's, is going like a train. In Brazil, He managed to keep it going where, for whatever reason, his teammate Gerhard Berger did not, and that resulted in victory for Nigel Mansell. Here in France, he's fought his way up from a start in the pit lane on lap 1 to second position on this, the 65th lap in this 80-lap race. So not all that far to go for Nigel Mansell, who has re-signed for Ferrari in 1990. He won't be seeing John Barnard, the man who designed this car and around whom there has been so much controversy, next year, because Barnard is leaving the Ferrari team at the end of the year. But Henrique, the Williams number 2 man, is replacing John Barnard in the Ferrari team. I took breath for a moment there because it looked to me as though Nigel Mansell was going a bit slowly around that corner, but he looks perfectly all right here. And he's 42.3 seconds behind the race leader, Alain Prost. There he is. And the next man that Prost laps will be Jean Alesi in the blue and yellow Tyrrell. You'll probably see it when we get on, when the producer gives us a longer shot. There is Prost. The car ahead of him is Jean Alesi. That is Eddie Cheever, and Cheever is in 8th position. It's Prost leading, Mansell 2nd, Patrese 3rd, Alesi 4th, Johansson 5th, Griard 6th, Bernard 7th, and Cheever in 8th position.
C'est peut-être vrai, mais toujours est-il qu'il faut mener la course, tenir la distance. Et ici Jean Alesi. Cheever sont toujours là. Gugelmin est 15e, il est pointé à 6 minutes du leader, tout simplement parce que c'était arrêté très longtemps au début de course. Officiellement, il ne devrait pas être classé car il n'aura pas parcouru le pourcentage de distance adéquat, qui est de 90%. De près, je préciserai. Le délit allume une nouvelle fois ses pneumatiques. Je préciserai que, à la suite des procès et des jugements en appel concernant le Grand Prix de Saint-Marin, le jugement définitif est tombé et Woodson a été replacé au 4e rang. Et du coup, Tarquini avait perdu le bénéfice de sa 5e place. Prise avec Modena, ça passe juste avec toujours Donnelly qui prend des qui opte pour des trajectoires un petit peu fantaisistes. Et Grouillard est maintenant sixième. Prost, Mansell, Patrese. Puis 4e Alesi, 5e Johansson, 6e Grouillard, 7e Bernard, 8e Cheever, 9e Pirot, 10e Nelson Piquet. Et ici, Patrese, lui aussi un des bons animateurs de cette course. toute évidence, n'aura plus d'autre but maintenant que de préserver sa troisième place en espérant que la malchance n'épargne pas ceux qui le précèdent. Et à ce prix-là, il aurait son 4e podium consécutif. Ricardo Patrese qui étoffe un peu son palmarès, qui n'est pas trop brillant pour une carrière bien longue et qui n'est pas encore terminée. La Williams que vous voyez là et qui l'an prochain disposera encore en exclusivité du moteur Renault. Voilà, 70 tours ont été couverts par le leader Alain Prost, qui a ralenti sa cadence. Il tourne en une 13,8. Et cette image toujours très belle, doublée de la prise de vue des caméras traditionnelles. Qui me parvient à l'instant précise que Gugelmin a senti son casque qui a frotté très longtemps sur le sol lors de son embardée du premier départ. Et puis il y a de l'eau chaude, heureusement pas encore trop brûlante, qui lui a coulé dans le dos. Et je pense que c'était une chaleur négligeable comparée à celle qu'il a dû ressentir dans son être.
Within my vision, just opposite the main grandstand, in which case he's very obviously out of the French Grand-Prix. Blinding flash of the obvious. He was in 12th position, you remember, battling with Martin Donnelly. So we'll keep an eye peeled to see Donnelly coming through. But meantime, we are on the 72nd lap now, or at least Prost is, going through to complete another lap now. Yeah, Modena is out of the race. I can see him walking along the pit lane. He's taken his helmet off. There's his car. He had to retire. He couldn't have picked a better place. All he had to do is cross the track and he is in the pits. But that's the last thing he would have wanted to do. Not a good French Grand Prix for Brabham, with Martin Brundle failing to pre-qualify. He went up over one of the curves, broke the under tray, which broke the bulkhead, which did the brake cylinder no good at all. Changed to Modena's car in the last 10 minutes of pre-qualifying in an effort to get into the practice periods. But the car was set up for Modena and Martin Brundle failed to get in. And here is Prost. Well, if he finishes the last few laps where he is now, 7 more laps to go, including the one he is on, of this 2.37 mile Paul Ricard circuit, high on the rocky plateau and the Côte d'Azur, not very far from Marseille and Toulon. It will be to win his second French Grand Prix in succession, but much more importantly to Alain Prost, having announced that he's going to leave the McLaren team at the end of this 1989 season. A demonstration of the fact that he's lost absolutely none of his motivation. I can tell you that there's one battle on the circuit as you look at Stefan Johansson in 5th position. And that is a battle between Emanuele Pirro, driving in his first Grand Prix in the Benetton Ford, and 3 times world champion Nelson Piquet, and that's for 9th position. Maybe we'll see it. Meantime, here is Mansell, and he's gained a little on Prost. He's now 42 seconds behind him, but that really is a bit irrelevant. It's not making any real impression on the leadership battle. And there is Eric Bernard, still in 7th place. Now, Johansson is getting those vital pre-qualification avoidance points for his Onyx team by finishing in 5th place. He hopes, the Onyx team hopes, and I hope. And Eric Bernard, if he can just get 1 place, will get 1 point for Lola, which could make all the difference. He's on the same lap as Olivier Guillard, who is in 6th position, but he's 19 seconds behind him. And that is a pretty tall order at this stage of the race. Mauricio Gugelmin. Now we're looking at Bernard. Or we were. Now that is Stefan Johansson, 5th position, race order. Prost on his way to an easy victory. 42 seconds now ahead of Nigel Mansell, 2nd, having driven a magnificent comeback race from the pit lane to 2nd place in the V12 Ferrari, in which he has only finished in 1 race this year, and that was to win in Brazil. Riccardo Patrese, 17 seconds behind Mansell. Jean Alesi is some 12 seconds behind Patrese. Stefan Johansson is 5th behind Alesi, 4th, and Olivier Guillard is in 6th position. Bernard is 7th. Chiva is 8th. Pirro is 9th, just ahead of Nelson Piquet, 10th. Jonathan Palmer, still running in the 2nd Tyrrell, is in 12th position, and there is the race leader, Alain Prost, now on his 76th lap. Well, this is a demonstration of the fact that although a lot of the teams have made real progress, they are still not really in the same race as McLaren.
Yes, but they do seem to be closing the gap. The qualification was the closest we've had for a very long time. Mansell only a couple of tenths away from Prost, who was on the pole. And I think, of course, it was very unfortunate that Mansell should get whacked in the first corner incident and have damage to his car that meant he couldn't be out on the grid in time to take up his position on the 2nd row, because had he started from there, he certainly, at the speed that Prost has been able to, with which he's been able to dominate this race today, I think Mansell, in fact, has just put in his fastest lap of the race. So, and that's considerably quicker than Prost is going, although Prost has been at that speed. And I think Mansell would certainly have been able to push Prost. Whether he could have beaten him yet, but certainly we saw Mansell push Senna in Mexico, and it would appear, Ferrari say, that they've got their alternator problem, their electrical problem sorted out now, and that has been their problem consistently in the last few races. If that is the case, and certainly Mansell's seems to be going most of the distance, if not all of it, then I think things are coming on. We've got the new Williams coming. Certainly the new Benetton has been very impressive in its debut, and so hopefully the field is continuing up and we will get back to some close races.
And Riccardo Patrese is certainly not giving up. You saw the pictures there, and he is really pressing on. He goes through. He is not as quick as Nigel Mansell is at the moment, and nor is Prost for that matter. There's very little in it. 1/10 of a second to be exact. Mansell's just gone round in 1 minute 13.1. Prost in 1 minute 13.2. And Patrese in 1 minute 13.3. And significantly and notably, Jean Alesi in the Tyrrell in 4th place is lapping in 1 minute 13.7. So as James says, things are getting very, very much closer in terms of speed and competition at the front. And now Alain Prost, the race leader, is on his 78th lap. He only has 2 laps to go at the end of this one, and to gain his 37th Grand Prix win, his 2nd successive French Grand Prix win, to extend his World Championship lead over his teammates Ayrton Senna. And Nigel Mansell there is actually lapping marginally slower than Prost now. He is half a second slower, he was half a second slower on the previous lap than Prost. The gap is 41 seconds. There is the leader. Prost leads, Mansell second, Patrese is third, 21 seconds now behind Mansell. Jean Alesi, a breathtaking fourth, and has still not been lapped by Prost, because the car that just disappeared out of the picture before Prost arrived was Alesi. So Prost sees his countryman Jean Alesi in front of him in the Tyrrell Ford, still on the same lap, and such has been the dominance of the McLaren team this year. So very often they have only been the only 2 cars, Senna and Prost, to go the full race distance. Well now, if Prost maintains station, and I see no reason for him to hurry, he knows exactly what the situation is, it's very likely that not only Prost and Mansell and Patrese, in respectively their McLaren, Ferrari and Williams, but also Alesi in the Tyrrell, are going to have done 80 laps by the end of the French Grand Prix. Here is Nigel Mansell. This is lap 79. Prost has only got 1 lap to go at the end of this one. Nigel Mansell has only got 1 lap to go at the end of this one. Stefan Johansson is still 5th. Grillard is still in 6th position. Bernard is no longer 7th, or he won't be much longer. The unfortunate Eric Bernard, with the rear of his Lola Lamborghini on fire, is retiring, as did his teammate Philippe Alliot. A bitter, bitter pill for Gerard Larousse of the Larousse Lola team, and Prost was going very slowly there. But I think, and look at that, that is Eric Bernard. Prost may have, remember that Senna had a lubrication problem. Well, this is Alesi's car, and it's well alight, but Prost has still got a lap to go. He's on his last lap now, is Alain Prost, and the gap is still some 40 seconds, with the unfortunate Eric Bernard out of the race, and that means to say that up into 7th place will come Eddie Cheever yet again. That seems to be his conventional finishing position, but Prost is the man.
Yes, a really straightforward, very simple victory for Alain Prost. Senna did him the courtesy of breaking down before they'd even got to the first corner, and really with Mansell sidelined to start from the pit lane for the restarted race, the opposition really evaporated as Prost crosses the line to win the French Grand Prix and extend his lead in the World Championship.
After an absolutely immaculate, magnificent drive, no less a drive than you would expect, and Nigel Mansell is going to finish in 2nd position. Alesi will finish behind Patrese, who will be 3rd. So the Frenchman Alesi in 4th position, and in 5th and 6th places, Stefan Johansson getting the first points for Onyx, as Nigel Mansell comes in, and Grillard will be in 6th position. But this is just as good a drive in its way as that of the winner, Alain Prost. Nigel Mansell takes his 2nd finish for Ferrari in 7 races. He won in Brazil, 2nd in France. Here is Riccardo Patrese completing his final lap, and he has nothing to be ashamed of. He is following 3 successive 2nd places with a 3rd place in France, and Stefan Johansson goes across the line. So
Williams Renault, encore un podium, le 4e podium consécutif. À la 4e place, on doit voir Jean Alesi sur la Tyrrell Ford, qui a passé la ligne. 5e Johansson et 6e Olivier Brouillard, qui lui marque également ses premiers points de sa carrière. Ici Jean Alesi, magnifique succès pour le jeune pilote d'Avignon pour son premier Grand Prix. Et la situation au championnat du monde, voit Prost solidement installé en tête avec 38 points, soit 11 points d'avance sur Ayrton Senna, qui en a 27, Patrese 22 points, Mansell 15.
Onyx avec la 5e place de Stéphane Johansson et un rappel du classement. Premier Prost, deuxième.
Et je vous rappelle que dans une semaine, nous aurons rendez-vous pour le Grand Prix d'Angleterre.
5e Johansson, 6e Brouillard, 3 Français dans les points. 7e Shiver, 8e Piquet, 9e Pirot, 10e Palmer, 11e Bernard, 12e Donnelly, 13e Gachot, 14e Bouguelhuin.
Oui, Eric Bernard avait bien laissé un peu d'essence sur la piste. Ici Eddie Cheever, ici Eric Bernard. Tout le monde a sa bouteille d'eau à la main. Et les commentateurs aussi. Eddie Cheever qui termine à la 7e place. Précédent Piquet. 9e Pirot, 10e Palmer, 11e Bernard, 12e Donnelly, 13e Gachot. Gugelmin n'est pas classé, mais il est crédité du meilleur tour. Le voici, Eric Bernard. Alors, je crois que je ne sais pas si nous pouvons garder l'antenne encore quelques instants. Oui, me dit-on. Alors, nous allons, je pense, voir Prost sur son podium pour la 30e fois sur la plus haute marche. Et plus de 50 podiums, on va vous dire ça immédiatement dans l'ensemble de la carrière.
Nous attendons les 3 premiers. Alain Prost.
37 victoires, 24 deuxième places, ça fait déjà 51.